Hi! Today we are going to learn something super awesome. So far in our exploration of Tagalog sentences, we have learned how to use a verb, an actor, and an object. All that's left now is the location, and that's what we will learn today. Here is how to add a location to your sentence. First, start with a simple sentence like the ones we have learned so far, with a verb and an actor and maybe an object if you want. And then add the word saw at the end, plus a noun or a saw pronoun. Let's look at the word saw for a moment. Saw is a word that represents a preposition. Let's take a moment and talk about prepositions in case the definition is a little fuzzy. A preposition is a word that describes the relationship between two objects. For example, in the sentence, the apple is on the box, on would be the preposition. Other prepositions include, but are not limited to, at, in, to, and many others. When you put saw in front of a noun, you are expressing the relationship between that noun and whatever came before it in the sentence. Let's look at some examples of using saw with a noun. On the table, saw table. Remember that there is no word for the in Tagalog, and that's why we leave it out of the Tagalog phrase. In the cupboard, sa cupboard. At the park, sa park. To the store, sa store. Remember the saw set of pronouns that we learned in the last lesson? Saw pronouns have the same concept as using saw with a noun, and they are used exactly the same way in the sentence. Here are a couple of formulas for creating a sentence with a location. Formula 1. Begin with an actor-focus verb. Add an ong actor and then a nung object. The object is optional. Then add saw and then a noun or a saw pronoun. Formula 2. Begin with an object-focus verb. Add a nung actor and then an ong object. Then add saw and then a noun or a saw pronoun. Let's try making some sentences. We will use Tagalog grammar and verbs, but we will stick to English nouns in order to make it a little more simple. I read a book at the library. Nagbasa ako ng book sa library. We will go to the party. Pupunta kami sa party. They are making pizza in the kitchen. Ginagawa nila ang pizza sa kitchen. He gave the flower to the girl. Ibinigay niya ang flower sa girl. As we can see in this example, the location doesn't just have to be a place. It can also be the recipient of an action. In this sentence, the girl is the recipient of the giving, and so she is the location. Let's try some more sentences. This time, we will use pronouns. But first, I need to confess something. When using pronouns, the simplest sentence structure that we learned at the beginning of our journey, and which we are using now, does not always work exactly the way we have learned it. The word order in the following sentences is not 100% accurate, and you will learn why in a future lesson. However, we are going to stick to the word order we have already learned for now, simply because switching it up now would complicate things a little too much, and I don't want to confuse anyone. But don't worry, you will become a pro in the prideful pronouns role once we get to that lesson, so just hang tight. The teacher is teaching a lesson to them. Nagtuturo ang teacher ng lesson sa kanila. The cat sat on me. Umupo ang cat sa akin. The girl will talk to you. Mag-uusap ang girl sa'yo. The child gave the chocolate to him. Ibinigay ng child ang chocolate sa kanya. Today, we learned how to add a location to our sentence by using the word saw. We learned that saw represents a preposition. Then we learned how to put it all together to make a complete sentence with a location. Now that you have learned all the parts of a simple Tagalog sentence, I would recommend that you study using the two formulas that we looked at earlier in this video to make your own sentences like the examples we used today. Feel free to go back to previous videos to review the other sentence parts if necessary.
Masaya tayo ngayon kasi natuto tayong magtagalog na katulad ng Pinoy. At kung ito'y gusto mo, balik ka sa susunod para tayo ay mas lalong mag-enjoy. Ingat!